Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Disney Does. DisneyDwayne here on a late review of The Incredibles 2. I was not in Singapore, and so I caught it only when I got back from Shanghai. You can check my Shanghai videos out. In the meantime, let's talk about The Incredibles 2. Now, did you guys like it? Well, I'm a little bit mixed about the movie. I thought the first movie was still better, but it's amazing that after 14 years, The Incredibles 2 manages to pick up right where the first movie left off. Now the reason for this is because Brad Bird said he didn't feel like he had anything to add to the first movie, and he wanted anything he added to be meaningful. And that's what he did eventually. The story is less of a story. It's actually more about the relationships between the characters, the Pars, as the family is known. And we see the reversal of roles as Elastigirl takes on becoming a superhero more than Mr. Incredible, and Mr. Incredible actually has to be the stay-home mom. So that's all very exciting, and of course you see a lot of girls step up to the plate, even the so-called people that they were up against. I mean, we're going to get into spoilers pretty soon, so please watch the movie first for this particular review. You see the sister and the brother, for a while you don't know who the bad guy was. It's kind of obvious it was one of them. So even then, you see the women here being the force behind most of the things happening. So in that sense, male and female didn't have equal footing in this movie. However, the thing I found most confusing was the logistics of the movie in terms of whether superheroes were welcomed by the city police or the people. That wasn't even clear right up to the end of the first movie, because the whole thing was about them being out of commission, and the people were not feeling secure about superheroes running around, and also they had to be in hiding so that they could avoid people that they had fought against who were coming after them, right? So it's the Superheroes Protection Program by the National Supers Agency that was protecting the superheroes and giving them jobs and protecting them from people who might come after them for revenge. And then in the second movie it gets defunct or decommissioned, which means that they don't have protection. But I'm confused because at the end of the first movie it seemed like they saved the city from Syndrome, and people were celebrating them and saying they were the real superheroes. And at the end there was a scene in the car where they were talking about the politicians still having to decide whether superheroes were welcome. So and that's why they went on to get the Underminer, who was at the end of the movie or the start of the second movie, the villain that was right after Syndrome. I'm not sure why they are fighting against the Underminer if they hadn't been freely allowed to be fighting crime. Also, it does seem though that the public welcomes them, so I wonder what, the police say they damaged the city too much, but they're protecting the city? I don't know, the public seems to welcome them, so I feel like that usually is the bigger voice, right? Because when Elastigirl turned up, they were like, hey, it's Elastigirl. Also, I felt, if you didn't remember Incredibles 1, which was actually 14 years ago, it just opened with this big fight scene, and you would want to know what exactly was going on and how they were doing. I felt I wanted to know, and that fight scene was really exciting though, but it went on for so long, I was just like thinking, what is actually going on? Like, what is their predicament? I want to know. And then after that, it felt like there was just so much exposition, things were spelled out so clearly on what was going on with their lives. It was almost badly scripted, in my opinion. It was spelling out too much. I just wanted to see through action what was going on rather than to be told what was going on. One thing that also disturbed me was the goggles at the end. How could people not have known that these superheroes were in goggles? Obviously they were wearing goggles, and that they were not being controlled by them, especially since Green Slaver had been mesmerizing everybody already. So, things like that. I mean, are the public that stupid, or is that a commentary on the fact that public are stupid? I don't know, but, I felt like some of these things could have been tightened up. But overall, I hope to see also more of Edna Mode. Edna Mode was a little bit less used in this movie, and I felt like she came in a little too late as well. I would have liked to see her be more involved. Jack Jack, though, was the star of the show. That scene with the raccoon, which I happened to see at D23, was just amazing, and it was great to see it again in context of the movie. Yeah, the fact that he was having all these new powers was really exciting to see. And it didn't follow other superhero movies, because this was really about family and relationships, and less of a copy of, you know, a typical Marvel movie, for example. So that was nice. Graphics-wise, it was amazing. Of course, you know, comparing it to the first, if you watch it back to back, you'll be able to see the technological advances, but you never feel alienated, because the family, their identities are so strong. You always feel like nothing has changed. Will there be a third one? I don't know. Do you want a third one? Overall, I give this movie, I prefer the first one, I don't know, like I'm sad to say, but like a 2.8, Disney standards, of course, out of 5. Now, thanks for tuning in. Catch you in the next episode of Disney Dust. Don't forget, I'm also reviewing the Beauty and the Beast Mandarin musical, which was just opened in Shanghai.